Hello everyone! So in this video I want to walk you through some steps on how I line and color my characters, because some of you asked me in my previous video and I promised I'll make a tutorial. So I start with a sketch of my character. You can start with the sketch of your character, or if you want you can also redraw my character. I have this one on one layer and I lower the opacity because I'm gonna draw on it with the line art. So I make a new layer on top. I go under brushes, calligraphy, and my favorite brush from here is script. Now if you have jaggy lines or a shaky hand, you can click on the script brush and increase the streamline to maximum. That way you will get smooth lines instead of, you can see. I really like to use the brush with the streamline on maximum. But you can use any other brush if you want a more textured. These under calligraphy are personally my favorite brushes. So now I pick a color for the line art and I start lining my drawing. Sorry about that. Now, if you want to make a perfect curved line, you click and drag the shape that you want. And then at some point it will create the ellipse if you don't lift the pen from the tablet. That's why I love digital art so much, because you can do so many things faster than with traditional art, and it's very helpful, especially if you have lots of artworks to work on. It's actually more helpful. I'm not gonna say it's easier because it's definitely not, but it's more helpful. So I'm quickly lining this character. I chose a simple character here because I don't want this tutorial to take forever, but you can do more complex stuff if you want, and these rules basically apply to any kind of artwork. Okay. Let's say that we are done with the line art now. You can also do some cleaning if you want with the eraser. Okay, now we have to, hide this layer underneath. I'm duplicating the line art layer by sliding it to the left and duplicate it. So you basically now have two line art layers. And on the second line art layer, the one underneath, I'm gonna do the coloring. And because I used this brush and it doesn't have like fuzzy ends and stuff, it's a perfect straight brush, you can choose the color. You can color by just clicking on the color and dragging it to the shape. If it's a closed shape, you have to keep that in mind. You have to have a closed shape in order to color like this. In Photoshop or other programs on the computer, it's called Paint Bucket tool. So you just click and drag the color where you want. If you use a fuzzier brush, then this will be a little bit difficult and you have to intervene after and color the white spaces where you didn't put color. So with this in mind, I'm quickly adding colors. I'm gonna change the background color so I don't have it white, because I don't like to work on white background color. It also helps you a little bit better with contrasts and stuff. So I'm gonna choose a pink for the hair because, okay, and you can use a color palette if you want for your artworks. If you don't know what color to choose, you can go on color palette websites and choose a palette. I used to do that before, but now I know what colors I want to use with my characters, or I just try things until I find what works best for me. I'm just gonna quickly do these shapes here on top. Well, no, actually I'm not gonna do them anymore. Okay, and now that I have this, are the base colors. I'm creating a layer on top of this color layer and underneath the line art layer. Okay, let me just rename them just for the sake of this video. Line art layer. This is gonna be color layer, and this is gonna be shade. And for this shade, I'm gonna change the blending mode from normal to multiply. I'm gonna show you why in a second. Now, if you want to shade, you have to click this, the eyedropper tool, and pick the color that you will want to shade later. So right now I'm picking the skin color. And with the same brush, the script, if you want you can use another brush, but this is how I do it. I'm just gonna shade where I'm thinking, you know, the shadows will be. So as you can see, it took the skin color and it multiplied it. So in that way it made it darker. Never shade your artworks with just one color or with black, because it will look extremely bad. Instead, just do this multiply trick that works in other apps too, not just in Procreate. So just put the shadows where you think it'll be to give the artwork more depth, you know. And now I'm gonna choose the color for the dress and do the same thing. You can also play with multiply, like to add more effects. Sorry, I was on the wrong layer. Make sure you're always on the right layer when you do art. And if you make mistakes, you can always undo. Now I'm picking the color of the hair and I'm doing the shading here. It doesn't usually take me so little time to draw my characters, and therefore this character doesn't really look amazing because I did it fast, so I can explain my process. But it usually takes me a longer time. But I just wanted to show you how I usually pick colors and how I basically color the artwork. I'm gonna use the shading for the eyes now. Also, I'm going back on the color and I'm giving her some rosy cheeks because they are cute and nothing else matters. Okay, now if you want to change the color of the line art, you have to click the line art and click auto lock. In that way you will lock the pixels where the line art is, so you can, everything you will color will stay on those, on that layer I mean. So if you want to choose like a lighter color, you can do so and just color on top of the line art. I'm gonna choose the different color for the line art where I drew the hair. Just like this. See? I think it looks a little bit better. I'm also gonna change the color of the line art where I colored the skin. Having different colors of line art, I don't know, I think it makes it look a little bit better. Okay, now we have color, line art, shade and color. Next, I'm gonna do a layer for light. This is actually my favorite part. So the light. Again, with the script brush, I don't like to get too complicated. And I'm just gonna add some glows. With white, or you can do the shading with, you know, other colors, but I like to do them in white. Also the eyes. I also like to make a layer on top of the line art if I want to draw something on the line art. For example, if I want to shade the eyes like this and draw other details. So yeah, this is basically how I do it. If you want, you can also go on the shade layer and pick this blending brush, and with the airbrush here you can also blend some of the parts if you don't want such straight lines how I do them. You can also blend them a bit. But yeah, this is it. This is how I color and shade my character. If you have any other questions or ideas for future tutorials or videos, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.